which is an organization in Peterborough, alhamdulillah, which is running nicely. So my connection with both Special Sisters is Michelle being the co-host of the show, so we're a team in there, and alhamdulillah I've had the opportunity to join Safura's team as part of the Lantern Initiative. She accepted my request to become a volunteer, so thank you for that. Today's topic is, are we doing our bit? The Lantern Initiative and its work in the community. So we're going to start off inshallah with a brief introduction and going further into that. If any of you want to call in or text, studio telephone number is 01733 602 133. Or if you want to text and WhatsApp, the number is 07745 278 978. We'd love to hear any questions or comments from yourself. So we're going to crack on, like I like to do, because we always fall short of time. So, Safura, if you can just start off, just give us a brief introduction about the Lantern Initiative, please.
Sure, yeah. So the Lantern Initiative was set up about 3 years ago. We first set up in Milton Keynes back in late 2015. Over the last almost 2 months now, we've been in Peterborough. And what we essentially do is organise mental health events, workshops, seminars, that kind of thing. Our aims and objectives, the three main aims we have are firstly to educate and raise awareness of mental health issues in the Muslim community. Secondly, to help break down some of the stigma that exists. I mean, we all know how much of a taboo it still is. And what we try to do is to provide more platforms for Muslims to talk about mental health, thereby making it more comfortable and less of a taboo. And thirdly, to empower the community. And what we do is we like to empower the community to seek help themselves. So whether that be self-help, whether it's medical help, they need intervention, whether they need to be put in touch with a sort of a mental health practitioner, or to be referred to another service in the community, we'll try and help them to achieve all of that. So those are our aims and objectives in a nutshell.
Okay, brilliant. Can I just ask you, before I move on to Michelle, can I just ask, where did this drive or this motivation to start off, where does this come from? Where did it stem from?
Wow, so that's a long answer. So when I lived in Milton Keynes, I had a baby at that point, and very quickly I found that there were lots and lots of women out there who had babies, who just had young children, who were feeling very isolated, very cut off, and some of them did have mental health issues. A lot of them were suffering from postnatal depression, baby blues, and just feeling a bit low, really, and needing a bit of company. And so we started off by having coffee mornings, just get-togethers for mums, and it was things like children just playing together while the mums had a cup of tea, that kind of thing. And then very quickly it turned into more sort of evening meals out, so mums would leave their kids at home with the dads, and they'd be out meeting other sisters, and it kind of moved along from there. I'd been to a few events and heard a few speakers talking about mental health in the community, and I decided that I wanted to bring them to Milton Keynes to meet some of the team. And we did that, and it all happened so quickly. It all just took off really, really well. And the first seminar event that we planned in Milton Keynes, we had about 70 spaces. And we were absolutely terrified because we thought, we don't know how this is going to be perceived in the community. It's the first time we're doing something like this. And actually, all 70 seats got booked. So, wow. It was a sellout pretty much.
Wow.
And I think that really just told us everything we needed to know, that there was a massive need for this sort of thing. And not just women, but men too in the Muslim community wanted to hear more about mental health. It's just a topic that's not talked about enough. It's still the case. It was the case 3-4 years ago, and it is still the case now. So I think a lot more work is needed, and this is where we try to come in. We like to think we're trying to make a difference, and trying to just support and assist people where we can. And really what it comes down to is, we're not massively changing lives or, you know, providing kind of counselling and therapy to people. But what we're doing is changing the mindset, making it less of a taboo, making it easier for people to access the services, the help they need, the support they need, and also just making people feel more comfortable. So the more events we plan, the more people become comfortable about discussing these topics. It just becomes a little bit less, you know, sort of a squirmy sort of issue. So that's essentially what we do and how we started off.
That's so inspiring.
That's really good,
isn't
mashallah.
it?
Yeah, we've had a chat. I think we had a chat about this before, and also we mentioned mental health as well. I did say on the radio show that I think we're a bit scared of the word mental health.
Yeah, very much so.
But
we feel like we've moved on, don't we? I think you know, people say, "Oh, it's getting better." You know, I'm not sure how far we've moved on. Like you said, you know, it's the same, you know, many years ago, and it's still, I mean, we are working towards that, but there's still a lot of work to do, isn't there?
I think it's changing, definitely changing. And I think one of the massive changes we've seen over the last few years is how much more open schools are when it comes to mental health. And there's a lot of, you know, there are big drives taking place for, you know, there's mindfulness in schools, there are coaches going into schools, they're doing kind of meditation, yoga, there's lots of stuff happening. So mental health is very, very much talked about when it comes to primary and secondary school. But it's what else we're doing outside of that in the community, you know. So children are much more exposed to that sort of language, that kind of culture. And then when they're coming home, sometimes it's not the case, you know, if they go to madrasa or they go to, I don't know, just in their homes and their communities, it's not so easy to talk about. So I guess from that perspective as well, children almost have like a split sort of, that they're leading almost two lives. But I think it's getting easier. I think it is changing slowly. It's, we've still got a lot of work to do.
There is.
Alhamdulillah. What's your take on the Land Initiative?
I think it's hugely inspiring. I'm just so pleased to meet Safura as well today.
It's the first time you met today, isn't it?
It is. And
we've been talking about Safura, and then alhamdulillah.
Yeah, we have,
today,
and
so
we've been sort of crossing paths, haven't we, online? And I keep seeing her name, and I think, wow, I must get in touch because we've got so much in common, I think, and there's a few coffee dates that I think we can plan.
Yes,
for sure,
definitely.
No, that's brilliant. There's so many questions that are running through our head, but inshallah, it will be flowing. It'd be nice to see some comments or questions from those who are listening as well. Don't be shy. Give us a call with any kind of comment or feedback or any questions you have for Safura or Michelle. So, what do you think? Because alhamdulillah, I know that me being a volunteer, we had that workshop about a month ago, wasn't it? Where there was a workshop on mental health, and imams and chaplains of communities were invited. And alhamdulillah, not being biased, but I think that workshop was really, really good. It's a shame that, I'm not going to have a rant, but it's a shame that not many people came from Peterborough.
Yes.
But I think it was an excellent opportunity to get involved, and alhamdulillah, I was really happy with the attendance. Everything was good, the timing was good, food was good, and the content was really good. And I think people travel from far and wide. Where was the places that they traveled from?
Yeah, so we had imams, chaplains, community leaders travelling in from places like Bristol, Wales, Stoke-on-Trent, Newcastle, London, Leicester, Nottingham. And we had a handful from Peterborough, but they were mainly women. And unfortunately, even though the training was actually aimed towards imams and community leaders, we didn't actually get the male imams and the male community leaders from Peterborough. But we did get a few sort of female teachers and various, you know, people that work in other kind of roles within the Peterborough community. So that was still good. I think because Peterborough is still very much, I think we have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to some of the bigger cities and the bigger towns. I'm from London, so I've been exposed to so many of these big organisations, and so when we try to bring them in, like Inspirited Minds, for instance, they are the biggest Muslim mental health charity in the United Kingdom. So naturally, we were quite excited to be working with them, to be bringing them to Peterborough. But I think, of course, the vast majority of people in Peterborough won't know who they are or what they do. And I guess for them, perhaps it wasn't as exciting. But you could see that people from other cities had travelled in. So I think people realised what a big deal this was.
It was amazing to see those people, honestly.
It was, yeah.
From far and wide.
Yeah.
The event started at 9:30?
It started at 9:30 and it
9:30.
finished at about 5:30. So a whole day of training. And we kept everybody well fed and watered. We had biryani and all sorts of food. And
why didn't I get invited to that?
To look after our guests.
I heard biryani and I'm there.
Who doesn't like a good biryani, eh?
Next time, Michelle.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
next
inshallah,
time.
inshallah.
Yeah. But yeah, the content was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we talked a little bit about Islamic psychology, and then we talked about how to support our communities in mental health, the sort of issues that we might see. And what we wanted to do really was to take a top-down approach. So it's all very well talking to the community about mental health and speaking to them about what they can do in their own lives, but I think really it does start from our leaders. And I think we need more leaders in those influential roles and in the mosques and in the schools and in various organisations, talking about mental health more openly and knowing how to support their congregations, how to support their community.
Yes.
And that's what we were trying to do.
Okay.
So by sort of educating them and empowering them, we were hoping that it would filter down into the community where it's needed.
Yeah.
And I think some people did take advantage of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe next time we can hopefully attract more.
I'm going to pick on that point. Maybe not on the first half of the show, maybe the second half of the show. When you said about leaders, I want to discuss about that because I've got some burning questions as well about that.
Okay.
But bringing Michelle back in, just want to ask her, because I know that you do cloud space, and when I was when I was talking to you on the phone about when I said to you about cloud space, when I said, I'm going to go to this cloud space, would you be interested? Because I found out, alhamdulillah, you've got an interest in that as well. I think you mentioned some nice pointers there, because you naturally said a few things, and I said, that's exactly what cloud space is about. And I think it is slowly building up. Alhamdulillah, it's really good to see that you as well as the rest of the team are putting hard work into that. But you mentioned that coming into a safe environment where there's confidentiality and people can be slightly open, not be judged. Alhamdulillah, so far that I've been taking class, but I hate missing it. So far, I've had to miss, I think, a couple of sessions because of work, which I didn't want to. But alhamdulillah, it's such a good platform to use for people to come in. But what's your take on that?
I think it's inspiring. I think it's amazing. I think everybody needs that sort of safe container where they can be held in a safe space. And I think it's really important that every age group has access to that. And, brothers and sisters as well. I just think, we all need time to be able to sit with people, together in a group and to be able to share and open up and talk. Because I think that's the basis of what everybody is needed in mental health, isn't it? We need to talk more, open up more, and then that helps with the whole taboo aspect of mental health as well. The more we can be open and talk about things in a small group initially maybe, and then as a wider community, it's really important. Are
you a promoter of men sometimes having a good cry?
Am I
a promoter of this?
Am I
I know that one of the shows. You remember when you mentioned about women not being stereotypical, but when you made that joke about women, having some kind of issues and opening the ice cream, and and watching a nice movie or something. What about the men? Do you think men also are missing out, or do you think? I think cloud space would be good for the males as because you mentioned brothers and sisters. I think it'd be nice. Input. It'd be nice, input from brothers as well to come in and kind of. There's a lot of talent out there. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's lots of people in the community that can help and hopefully, volunteer as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we said this, didn't we, a few shows ago, that there's a lot of talent out there.
Definitely.
That is not seen, and we're not making use of it. So
exactly. Just look at that. The show before this one, the Nasheed show, Brother Zahir Abbas. He was in the show, alhamdulillah. He was on the Real Me show last week, and alhamdulillah, he came on a Naat show and he showed his talent, and he's really good, alhamdulillah. So happy to see him show his talent, and there's many people out there.
It's just lovely to make connections with people, isn't it?
Definitely. That's what it's about. I love doing that. I do that sometimes randomly, like when I go to events and that, making connections, and we find somewhere we can meet, even if it's
Yeah.
like, oh, where you born, or where you, oh, I'm from there.
I
as
thought
well,
you
yeah.
meant like shopping in Sainsbury's, that you just randomly
No,
go up
no.
to strangers and make connections. What do you do? Where do you?
People look at me a bit weird. They're like, "You right there, mate."
What have you got in your basket? What can I learn from you?
Mental health is a big topic within itself as well, and I'm going to touch on it after the break about the role of leaders or the influence of leaders, because I'm not going to slate them. I don't want to say anything like that, because it is tough for them as well. I always
Yeah.
say that example, like, sorry,
No, I was going to say, yeah, we'll talk about that a bit after the break.
After the break.
Yeah.
it's, you know, when sometimes when we talk about work and that, it's easy for me as an employee of the company to say, oh, I wish this and that. For the employees, it's a bit difficult. So that's what I want to bring on to the leaders itself. How do you think so far? How long have you been in Peterborough for?
How long?
Yeah.
So it's coming up to about 2 years now.
Okay,
So
mashallah.
I think we've worked in Peterborough for about 18 months,
Yeah.
something like that.
But you've built a lot of connections in Peterborough as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is some amazing people in Peterborough. Really,
Yeah.
really good work going on. And as you said, so many connections you can make. Every organisation has somebody that can offer something.
Yeah.
You know.
But
in terms of mental health
I
and-
noticed something. Sorry for interrupting. I noticed that whenever there's an event going on, I always try and come and speak to you, but there's always another sister coming and talk to you. So I always see that, and it's really good because not only as a friend they come, but also like being part of it. Mashallah, you know, with the approach that you show and your input. Alhamdulillah, it's good to see, and sometimes trying to squeeze in a bit where sometimes I have to interrupt. But it's really good to see that other sisters are getting involved, and they're really
Yeah.
supportive towards you in the workshops and seminars and that as well.
It just shows how much people want to talk, really, and you know, you give them that opportunity to get things off their chest and show them that you're there for them, and people love that. You
Yeah.
know, obviously, my role, I'm a chaplain as well, so part of my role is to sort of, you know, be there in a pastoral care kind of role, supporting people with their faith, and that's something I really enjoy doing as well. And it's been really interesting, sort of, you know, marrying up the two, so the Lantern Initiative with my chaplaincy work. And how well they complement each other, the two roles. So
Yeah.
it's been interesting.
Do you know what? I want to bring out another connection between both of you. You work within chaplaincy, so you're dealing with humans, which can be a bit difficult.
Always humans.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're a chaplain within the
I'm a chaplain at the prison here
at
in
the prison.
Peterborough. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big role.
Yeah.
And connecting that to Michelle in emotional healing,
Mm-hmm.
there's a big connection there. So
Yeah.
I'll start networking already. But it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Emotional healing and also being, you know, within the chaplaincy and dealing with people who may be in the prison environment, and also looking out for their emotions, and you know, even you know, talking to people like that. There's a lot of, can be trauma, a lot of past and that. I went to a workshop yesterday, which was in Peterborough, and you know, the one that you
I do
put on
know,
Instagram as
yeah.
well, about emotional intelligence, and it was really, really good, really, really good, touching upon these things, and it is directly connected to mental health. The emotions that we show and we analyze, and it's really good. It was a short one, but inshallah, maybe in the future. I know that when we had a meeting last time, there's a lot of people calling out for yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah, mashallah,
lots
that's
of-
so good.
Well, people come forward with ideas for events as well, a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
Usually we'll finish an event and then someone will come forward and say, what about the teenagers? You know, my daughter's got this issue and my son's got this issue, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And it's great to have those ideas because you're actually hearing from the community what it is they want.
Yeah,
And we try to mix it up, you know, really mix it up, as in, you know, we'll do free events, we'll do £5 events, we'll do, you know, ticketed events that are a bit more upscale.
yeah,
We'll get speakers in that are actually quite pricey to kind of get in from wherever they're travelling in from.
Yeah.
We'll get local speakers in. And we've had a whole range of events. I mean, if you go onto our Facebook page, which is the Lantern Initiative, you'll see that we've done sort of teenager events, lots of stuff for women. Funnily enough, the vast majority of people that come to our events are women.
yeah,
And they always have suggestions for us as to what they'd like to see next, what they'd like us to do more of. But something else that's quite interesting, which I think I should just mention, is that when we first came to Peterborough, we hadn't done a lot of free events because we just didn't have the funding at that time. And what's happened since then is obviously we've been supported quite heavily by Children of Adam, who are a local charity, very well-established charity here in Peterborough. Many people know them. And they have supported quite a lot of our projects, which meant that we could offer quite a lot of the events that we did for free of charge. And interestingly, they're not as well attended as the ticketed events. And I don't know if that's because when you do a free event, it's almost like people don't really attach the same level of importance, the same value to it, because it's a free thing. And I sometimes wonder whether people just kind of book their space because they see a free thing. And then on the day they'll just decide, well, actually I can't be bothered, or I don't feel like going, so I won't go today. And it's a shame because people don't take it as seriously when it's, if it's free. And I think perhaps we need to kind of retrain people to think more seriously and to take mental health more seriously. Because obviously when you book your space and then don't turn up, it's a space that somebody else could have had. And pretty much all of our events we have restricted spaces. It's not unlimited. And the reason we do that is because we like to make sure that everybody has had sort of a good kind of they're getting the most out of that event, and we try to make sure that every person has that chance to go and speak to the facilitator, to go and speak to the counsellor, whoever the mental health professional is. They can go and speak to them. And we want everybody to be able to speak and to ask questions and to be able to engage, and interact properly. And that's why we put a cap on numbers. So it's a shame that the free events aren't kind of better attended. But we're learning from that. I think we're sort of kind of gauging it better now, I think. So if we've got an event where you've got 30 spaces, we'll try and book on 40 because we know that inevitably 10 of them won't turn up. It's a learning curve for us as well.
Fair enough, mashallah. Michelle, have you, within your work, have you led a group of people before within group work, or have you kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I've run a retreat in Morocco.
Oh, wow.
Just a women-only retreat.
Okay.
Specifically, focusing on emotional healing. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
And again, just sort of speaking about a small group, which, you can then have people, they've got time to be able to talk and share and open up rather than big sort of groups in a way. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But you've got sunshine as well, which was a great, addition. But yeah, I love workshops, I love group work. A lot of my work is one-to-one. I do, hopefully, inshallah, I'll be able to, sort of spread that out a little bit in the local community.
There's a need for it. I know that I told you before as well, come to the mosque and lead a session is really good. Because I think most people really think that when you've both been in that scenario where you've actually led or facilitated up to the extent where leading people up to the extent talking as well to good people. And I think within events like these, with the work that you both do, you can find connections with people, and as soon as you see those keywords or those words, she or he will probably understand me. Well, that's what I'm going through, and then feel a bit open.
I think people need to connect, especially when you talk about, because we work with the Muslim community predominantly. When you start talking about something within your culture or your faith, I think people definitely connect over that. Because you're not just talking about generic mental health, you're not just talking about something you might hear from their GP, or any other mental health professional. But hearing from somebody who actually understands what it's like to be a Muslim, to be an Asian, to be Pakistani, or whatever. And they do connect over that, and they find that people open up much more.
That's brilliant. So, inshallah, what we're going to do is I'm going to go for a break soon. We'll go for a break soon, and inshallah we'll carry on after that. Just a quick reminder again that if anyone wants to call in or text, call into studio 01733 602 143. Maybe you can text or WhatsApp. We'd love to hear your comments or even if you've got a question for either Michelle or Safura. You can text 07745278978. It would be really nice, like I mentioned, to hear from the community, just to give your feedback, or even any ideas.
Let us know if you need our events and what you thought of our events.
Yeah, brilliant. Excellent. So, inshallah, we will see you back after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break. Tiles, with over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles, 4-bathroom suites from only £189. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fenegate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Al-Murad Tiles, now open.
Had a car accident or an accident at work? Accident specialists are experts in no win, no fee accident claims. Leave the hassle to us. Our multilingual settlement experts will manage the entire claims process on your behalf with nothing to pay up front. We provide services such as credit hire, taxi vehicles, recovery, storage and much more. For full details on our range of services and a free consultation, call us on 01733 555 774 or visit our office at 249 Lincoln Road opposite the Nat West Bank. Accident specialists, start your successful claim today.
Insure 24/7 is a community-based insurance brokerage offering competitive premiums and a great service. Taxis, properties and businesses, we cover them all. Call us on 01733 856699 or visit our new office at 304 Lincoln Road. Insure 24/7. We've got you covered. Insure 24/7 is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. والكلمة الطيبة لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. Peterborough Community Radio Station, Salam Radio 106.2 FM.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the show, WME. Today's topic is Arguing Albeit, the Latin Initiative and its work in the community. And joining with me is the co-host of the show, Michelle, and Safura, the co-founder of the Latin Initiative. So welcome back, sisters. Alhamdulillah, so far finding fruitful, and I'm only having this burning question which I mentioned for about, or mentioned before break. So that is the role of leaders. Now, I don't want to criticize leaders because I know that it is difficult to lead their position as well. Being a leader of the community to deal with people's questions, comments, that's why I said probably comments, and other things as well. So I think as spiritual leaders, alhamdulillah, within Islam and other religions as well, but we will just talk about Islam because it's relevant at the moment. There's a broad, well, Islam is a lifestyle, and I think that community members feel comfortable with talking to leaders, the imams, spiritual leaders about their maybe children or spouses or family problems or wife problems, maybe with Islam and that. But workshop, which was, really good in regards to what we had a month ago, and for me just being signposts and so forth, and the link between spirituality and our mental health as well. But what message would you say? Sorry for cutting the spot. What message would you say for leaders to kind of, let's really discuss it, for leaders to take into mind and consideration when it comes to the importance of mental health?
So you're not leaving me on the spot. We just have all the time. I think, as you said, it is difficult, imams, the leaders, because sometimes I think what you tell your congregation is very much led by your congregation. You kind of take their lead, you take their cue, and I think if the imams actually feel like the community is not ready to hear certain stuff or to learn about certain stuff, perhaps they won't mention it, they won't talk about it. And I think since I moved here, anyway, I am finding, and I'm seeing posters all over the place, I'm finding that there's a lot of events going on that talk about things like jinn session and black magic and ruqya and etc. And I think it's important to strike a balance, because I think if you're not careful, I think you can really kind of keep this vicious cycle of fear going. Because I think there is already a lot of fear in the community when it comes to this kind of thing. And I think it's up to us, and I think it's also up to our community leaders and our imams to kind of change that mindset and to teach people that yes, okay, so jinn sessions may exist, evil eye may exist, and all of that stuff, yes. We know that there is a basis for it in Islam, but Allah has also given us protection for that. So are we doing enough to protect ourselves? Not just that, but also when you look at cases that actually come to light, how many of those actually turn out to be jinn sessions and be evil eye, and how many then turn out to be something simple like the mental health problem that could very easily be rectified. And I'll tell you, because I've heard quite a few Muslim speakers talking about this subject, it's approximately 95% of all cases that actually then need to be a genuine mental health problem that either needed some kind of intervention or medication or counselling or some form of therapy. So the problem with jinn session and etc. is not being to think. And I think by talking a lot about these things, I think we kind of exacerbate that fear in the community, and I think we're not doing anything to change the situation. Having said that, I think that in Peterborough, I don't think that the mosques talk about that kind of thing in the vast majority of cases I've seen anyway. And I think actually one or two mosques are doing some great work. I know that the imams are very proactive, trying very hard to sort of I don't know, helplines so people can really speak to them, and then signposting them. They're all doing all the right things. But yes, I think more doors be done. And I was sure we could get more people going to that training session. Because I think in a lot of cases, when people in the community or some people in the congregation go to their imam or go to their mosque, 9 times out of 10, the mosque will not know what to do next, where to signpost that person to, where to send them to. They may say they go and speak to your GP, but actually what other choices are there out there? What other options are there? This person might be too frightened to go to their GP, they might need something else in the interim. But unless they know the different support structures that are out there, different help that's available out there, they won't know where to send people to. So I think it is very important for the community, I think all of our leaders to be well aware of what's going on, then also to be aware of what's going on within their congregations. We need to know what's going on within families, within homes, what's going on within children's lives, young people who have mental health issues, why are they suffering from mental health issues, and what is our role in all of this? Because it's not just a case of come to the mosque, pray, go home and you'll be fine. It's not as simple as that, it's not as clear cut as that. You know, Allah tells us obviously to pray, we've got to turn to Him first and foremost. But of course, if you need help, and you need more help than just praying, you've got to seek that help yourself, you've got to be open to receiving that help. You've got to, if you need intervention, if you need therapy, you need to be open to receiving that. And then if people need to hear it from their imams and their leaders, you know, it's okay to seek help. I think we mentioned this as well in a different way, but you know, taking responsibility for your own mental health as well, and it's not, you know, not waiting until there's an issue or a problem, but actually, you know, continuously putting in efforts, you know, self-care, looking after yourself prior to that, you know, that point. I think that's really important. And the other thing I kind of wanted to mention was, you know, who's looking after our leaders in the community as well?
Wow.
Where do they go? Because they're taking on lots of, you know, all community struggles, issues, worries. So, you know, how is
it's even more important for them to know what signs and symptoms are, what they should be looking out for. And we really become Arab to always say to them that you might not need this help right now, but you may be able to go and support somebody else later on. You might be a loved one, a friend, a family member, you know, somebody in your life that might need support. And then you know how to spot symptoms, you know what's going on, you'll be able to help better. That's what it is about. It's about empowering.
Yeah, just noticing those symptoms. So important, because then we can look to our brothers and sisters in the community, our family and our friends, and spot it earlier as well.
So the thing that comes up with our events, we've had people contacting us to say, your event sounds great, but I don't really have any issues, so, you know, it's not something that I'm going to come to. And then we often have to say to people, it's not, our events are not just for people suffering from mental health issues, they're for everybody. Come along and learn about mental health, just come along and be empowered, educated. And then, like I said, you know, 1 in 4 people in the UK at any given time are suffering from mental health issues. So, at some point when you need that information, that knowledge, and you know, you'll be able to use.
Do you think as well that people don't necessarily think that they are, you know, struggling with a mental health issue, that they just, in their own minds, they just feel like they may be a bit down, or, you know, they won't kind of put a label on themselves? I mean, I get a lot of clients come to me and they sort of say, you know, oh, I've not got any problems like that, I'm just, you know, it's just something different, I just need some help, you know, emotionally, it's not a mental health issue, or
I think there is a lot of that. Yeah, there is a lot of that. We did a Healing Minds event here in Peterborough 2 years ago when we first moved here, and one of the ladies said on a feedback form, I've been feeling rubbish low over the last 2 years, and I finally understand what's wrong with me. So for 2 years, she's been putting on all of these symptoms. And it just reading that it just made me realise that, you know, we don't know what's going on in people's lives. And you're right, people might be struggling with all sorts of issues and just not know what it's called, or who to go to help, or they might be thinking, well, I'm coping, or I'm managing, so I'm alright. But actually they might not realise that they're depressed, or have anxiety, or, you know, people go through panic attacks for years sometimes before they seek help. So, yeah.
Do you think that there's a trust issue in our communities?
A trust issue?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, without a shadow of a
Straight.
doubt.
Yeah.
I think, yes, because, you know, we have this mindset that people say to me, I can't come to your event because I'm worried about who else might see me there, and then they'll report it back to my family, and I don't want families to know I'm coming to your event. So when you get close to the community, of course, there is always that. It's not necessarily a distrust either, it's just everybody knows everybody else's business, and people see one another, and, you know, and people will talk naturally in smaller towns as well, people talk. So it's not like people are being vicious or nasty, it's just people just get out that you've been to the event and you don't necessarily want that to go back to the families. We did the domestic violence event a while back, and we had a woman who contacted us, and she said, I really want to know more about domestic violence, but I can't come because my husband was asking me, I don't beat you, so why do you want to go to this event? Well, you know, and then dealing with this mindset that we need to change, you know, what we can think, you know, there's a lot of that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you think, just, I want to we should also think on this, and I didn't pay for this, so I'm sorry. But if you don't mind me asking, being fairly new to Islam, what would you like to see? I mean, obviously we take baby steps, but what would you like to see from the leaders of the community in their take on mental health to help people become closer to God? So I know last time when I mentioned to you trying to get one of the scholars over in arms with the community, can you give me a people and sit and have a chat with them? And that was like each other, trying to get a group of people, you sit down with them, ask them like a whole lot of questions, and then, and then you'd be happy with that, to answer any questions you have. Because I did, when I said to you that it would be nice for you to have some really good questions, and you kind of took me aback. I was like, well, those are some good questions. I don't know whether those questions have a culture element or a religious element, because the culture is a big part. I don't want to spoil it because that's going to come inshallah in the next few years about culture and peer pressure or pressure within our lives. What would you see? What would you like to see? The intake or participation of scholars within the living to do in regards to mental health and encouragement of this.
It's funny when you said about, speaking to me about going to speak to my mom. I was like, can you really do that? That person was untouchable, like, you can't go there. You don't want to speak to me, Michelle, who's the new, believer. But yeah, I was quite inspired because I thought, wow, we need to have that accessibility to be able to go and approach the leaders, or even people in the community, other brothers and sisters. We've talked about this before, that you feel sometimes that you don't necessarily want to open up. You're not sure who you can talk to, who will receive you well. So I'd like to see in the community that it's a little bit more open. That we're all human. We all have issues. We all have things going on in our lives that we can talk about. And we did mention this before, in that nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors. And I think we've all been through issues. We all know somebody that's had issues. So if we can try and open up communication between us all and talk about these things, and it just takes some courage, to stand in front of people and say, this is me, this is what's going on with me right now. But it's lovely as well, because I think when you start talking to people, you get those into the like I've experienced that, or that's happening to my family member, or I know somebody who's been through this as well. So it's quite nice if it opens up that channel to be able to discuss things a bit more openly. Yeah. What's really interesting as well is that sometimes depression is seen as a very Western illness. I don't know why that is, but it is. I mean, we know that even when you look at the language used, there's not really even a word to translate depression into some languages. So maybe it's a very Western sort of concept to some people. I mean, it's existed, we all know it happens, but they can't sort of name it, and there's never been, they don't know what to call it. So it's almost like we just ignore it. It doesn't happen in our culture and our communities.
In lots of communities as well, especially with the older generation, it's kind of like, you've got to just get on with it and carry on, and I think that's a bit of an issue as well with people, that they're just not kind of in that mindset that this does exist, it is a problem, and we do need to kind of address it.
Sometimes it's very easy to make it sound as though people are not educated, don't know what they're doing, don't know what they're talking about, and it's not always the case. Sometimes people are very, very astute and aware, and they know what's going on, but they don't want to seek the help, they don't want people to find out what they go through. There's a lot of that as well. And then when you look at male mental health, for instance, especially in the Muslim community, you've got men already have this pressure on them, they've got to be main breadwinners, they're the head of the household, they're supporting their wives and their children and everything else, holding it all together. And then if you've got a situation where a man's lost his job, or been made redundant, or things have gone wrong in their life, what are they going to do? They can't fall apart. They can't, they've got to sort of, they're still the head of the household, they're still the main breadwinner, they've still got to somehow keep up that kind of, that sort of, almost charade. It's almost like I've got to save face here because my community is watching me.
Imagine just strength in men as well to keep that going for so long. That always amazes me that, you've got these guys in the community that are pillars of the community and are around and you're living and supporting their families, and they've got nowhere to go. Like, we talked about this, and I was kind of like an advocate for the guys, wasn't I? That's not a good message to have. But I said to you then, and I still believe now, that if we kind of look after the men, the rest will kind of fall into place to some degree. But they need that safe place to go, that safe container, and that's when I kind of had the idea of the man cave, that people can go to and chat. Brothers in the community, they can go and share and get that support.
Let's bring in not anything from the Quran, please, because this is like, for this time show, I think, just talking as a general basis. Let's go back to myself, who I tend to forget, and I feel that's something I forget when you prophet is Christ. And he played a lot of roles. And a leader, psychologist, very clever with the instructions he used, and we tend to forget that a lot. And I think we need to dig in a bit deeper, or maybe put ourselves a second year, and not only praise him and sing blessings to him, but also implement what he did, because he came back, he came at a time when the men were praying that he was alive, in the time of ignorance, Jahiliyyah. And the way he made the Mohammad and Ansar, the brothers, unite. It's brilliant. But he also went to the cave to meditate, to relieve his sorrow as well, because I was talking to a friend who has an interest in psychology as well. And he said that even therapists need to speak to their seniors. And that's one of giving the Prophet some relief through Angel's Braille, and Prophet was in that position where he had some really good companions around him, support, really a big support. What would you say that, in your opinion, how we can bring that back to life, and not necessarily our history now? Let's use that history to implement our lives. And actually, if us men, being the staunch believers, strong believers of what the Prophet, let's implement, and I think we don't. I think we get a lot of times when we don't. What would you say your input, or what would you say your opinion is that how we can bring his teachings on how he handled people, how he handled situations?
I think it's just, I'm really glad you brought that up actually, because I think just looking at the role of the Prophet and the experiences that he went through in his own life. I mean, we know that he had a whole year of sorrow as well, when he was grieving, deeply grieving, because he had lost members of his family, close members of his family, in quick succession. And we know that he was filled with sorrow. He didn't just continue as he always did. It was called the year of sorrow for a reason. And we know that he displayed signs of he showed his emotions. Also, when you look at when he became distressed and worried when the waves were coming down to him in the cave, and he goes back to his wife Khadijah and her for comfort. And he is distressed, and she's calming down, and she's reassuring him. And so these are all emotions that he displayed. These are all, I think it's very important for men to see that Abbas displayed these traits and these characteristics and these emotions. And so there's nothing wrong with men doing that. And as you said, he's the perfect role model into his life to see how he dealt with certain situations, in order to know how to be ourselves.
What would you like to see from Muslim men in the community if they don't want to, for example, come to an organisation like yourself or other organisations we grow up, but maybe they feel a bit pressure, maybe they friends might see them, or maybe that we talked about. What tips can you give just to normal youngsters, even men, children, from the community around us who kind of have a need and a need to be met, suffering.
Yeah, I think talk to someone is probably the kind of bottom line. And first and foremost, this is advice you give to anybody. You don't have to go to an event, you don't have to seek therapy, you don't have to talk to your GP, you don't have to go to anybody you don't want to. But talk to someone. And then you find that just talking, getting things off your chest really helps. And sometimes, we find it's a loud pace. You've got the other person coming in looking quite upset and anxious, worried, and all of them just talk for an hour and a half, as a group of people who just talked. And by the end of it, just so much lighter and happier, and everyone's got a skip in their step, you know that they just need to get something off their chest. That's all they need to do. And then it brings a lot of relief, just to find that trustworthy person to talk to. And of course, if you can't find somebody you can open up to your own life, or you feel that there are trust issues, and there are helplines you can call. You can call other helplines anonymously. Speak to somebody. There are Muslim helplines, there's Muslim youth helplines, there's Muslim Women's Network helpline, there's Heritage Mice. Just talk to someone.
Quite a lot of arts and helplines now as well, I noticed. You don't have to call in. So some people who are a bit nervous about speaking on the phone because they feel it's too close or too personal. You can actually text these helplines now as well. So it's a little bit more, you step back a little bit, but you can still communicate with somebody. And like I say, it's totally anonymous. Some of them don't show on phone bills and things like that. So for children, that's really important as well.
Do you think that emotional being, talking to therapy as well?
Yeah, a lot of my sessions, I've got to admit, sometimes we start a session and I'll say, so what's been going on for you this week? And this whole tirade comes out. Yeah, so it's like, oh, fine, I had an okay week, and then it just feels over. And I think I've been in that situation myself when I, sat down with somebody and I thought, I'm okay. And I started to talk, and then it just comes over you, doesn't it, all this emotion. But I think talking is a huge part. And I think even in just general day-to-day chatting with people, you feel yourself, don't you, that there's that kind of weight lifted when you finish talking to somebody. You feel lighter, and connection is important. I think a lot of people feel quite disconnected, don't they? Especially like elderly women who might be lonely, or
I don't know if you've heard of social prescribing, where GPs are now prescribing people to kind of go out for lunch with each other, or go out on a social kind of disabled trip, or go out in nature, or go for a walk, or join a club of some sort. And it's been quite well documented that when you have those social connections, your mental health actually is a lot better. You're looking after yourself much better. When you go to the GP, I think initially the first thing that you're offered is medication, and then a lot of the time as well. I think it's a lot similar than that sometimes. It is, definitely.
We've got to carry on for an hour.
This is like we're going to do coffee. Continue on. That's where we're going to
do you know what? It's the women that want the events. It's all easy, like afternoon tea events and all this stuff. It's all the women. But our next one's actually for men and women. So you're more welcome to come along to that one.
Inshallah.
What would you create then, Abbas, if you wanted to go to something like that? What would be your ideal sort of session or day?
I think being realistic, I think it would be nice to sometimes I love the shisha shop, and I love friends love the shisha shop. So I went to the shisha shop lounge, talk, and I think other would learn of them. For them to just kind of chill and talk there. Sometimes go there to desert places and kind of meet up there. Team exercises are good, and I mentioned ideas as well that do team building exercises, and from that you talk about your strengths and weaknesses within the team, and just analyze it. Don't have to say anything too in depth, but from that then you can touch upon how these things affect your life. But as usual, I'm not sure. You can't see it, but I can see the red screen on mine. It's flashing. You can see it.
Yes,
But I just want to thank you both, Michelle, for obviously being part of the team and helping with the show and good support to myself. So thank you for coming. And to Safura, thank you for taking time out and joining the show. We've got actually about 10 seconds left. If you have any comments or if you follow the Balance Initiative on Facebook and Instagram, please do so. Inshallah, you know from it. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
The Masjid is a centre of spirituality and education